Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Day 2 of the semi-finals here at the Crucible, and we are crackling with anticipation. Two legends of the game backstage, locked together at 4 frames all. Without any further ado, you know what's coming. Let's get the boys on the bass! Introducing first of all, winner of an outrageous 36 ranking event titles, 7 times a champion of the world, making his 12th semi-final appearance here. He is the undisputed king of the Crucible, Stephen Hendry. And his opponent, the most naturally gifted player ever to grace the game. A sensational 147 on Monday, making his 8th appearance in a semi-final. 2 times a champion of the world. Blink and you've missed him, because here comes the Rocket, Ronnie.
Thank you. Frame 9, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan gets frame 9 underway. The first one of this second session of 8. They shared the first session, which Ronnie O'Sullivan, I would have thought, would have been the happier of the two, having trailed by 4 frames to 1. You just feel that Stephen just let it slip and maybe could have had a 2-frame advantage. Well, that was a bit fortunate. Played safe off 1 red, not 2, but it'll do. I just feel at the moment, well, that Stephen needs a good start to sessions, just to, you know, keep his confidence up. I mean, he's done really well, and we know he's not playing the game that he used to, and it might not be far short when he's in amongst the ball, but I think.
Yeah, can you please turn down your earpieces? We can hear them. Please make sure they're not up to
I think a good start to the session. Just settled as a player.
Couldn't have started better yesterday. Break of 140 in the opening frame. The key frame for me was frame 6 when he led 4-1. Got in with 32 early, you know, so it looked like he was possibly going to 5-1. Missed, and then Ronnie got back into the frame and then eventually the match. Thought Ronnie looked a little subdued yesterday in the first half of the match, mainly because of Hendry's brilliance.
just misjudged the
Final
line.
miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Ronnie, no hesitation, having it replaced. It's a delicate one. Of course, he can get through to this red on the right-hand side of the table.
Something like that, Stephen? Yeah, Ronnie? A little bit this way. Okay.
That's what he's trying to do, but he's just got to avoid the red that's immediately to the right of the black. Oh, well, he's found a better line. Oh, well.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Well, it's not bad, because you can imagine if that had been 2 inches harder, he'd have left the easy red on for the right corner. So it's a tricky one, this. And looking at that, Willie, I don't think he can get to the red near the top cushion.
There's one thing for certain, Johnny won't be playing it this time because it's 3-shot miss rule, isn't it?
If you don't hit a ball and you lose a frame.
Yes, give him the warning. But, you know, some snooker players can be stubborn. Well, there is a couple of players who have lost or conceded frames. Steve Davis did it. Ken Doherty did it once in the Masters.
There's a red available in the middle, so I'm just thinking if you just play this to play the stun for the pink, you'd leave the red in the middle, so you might play a forcing pot here, trying to get back into the balk area. If he gets close to the pot, he'll get close to the cue ball. Well, he's just tried to birdie the red, and what a great shot. Great shot. Sometimes Johnny forced into it, aren't you? No choice.
Well, he was certainly forced into it there. And floated it in beautifully. And he's on the pink.
Well, he's decided to keep things tight at the moment, and if this had been later on in the match, he'd have taken this on. Later on in the morning, really, just a little bit reluctant to go in and out of balk with that pink.
Ronnie desperately seeing if the yellow has come to his rescue, but I don't think it has. Looking at his face. No. Stephen can get through to this red near the corner pocket.
Because it was a relatively easy pot, Stephen didn't risk playing with check side to go back into balk. He thought, well, I'm bound to pot it and I'll risk going into the reds. It's a bit of a shock when you end up missing a shot like that, because you know you've kissed him to reds, and at first glance he hasn't left anything easy. He's done well to get the cue ball through that bunch.
As you say, Willie, Stephen didn't leave anything easy, but Ronnie didn't make it look too difficult, did he? And the first good chance of the morning.
And straight the way on the last shot there. The red wasn't really in the way, but he knew by moving it away from where it was, the pink would be available into at least 3 pockets. And this is the beauty of Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan, as we say many times on commentary. They're always looking to win the frame at one visit, and I just wish other players now and again would look at that situation, because sometimes they need 2 and 3 chances of frame. These guys don't.
15.
This is the first time in the match Ronnie has been in front, albeit only in points in this frame.
$21. 22.
The one next to the black is his only problem ball as far as winning the frame at one visit. He's just having a double check there. It must be extremely tight. Ronnie's not playing for that one now, but he's just looking 3 or 4 shots in advance at the moment. He knows that's the only ball that could possibly stop him winning the frame at this visit. There you can see it's very, very tight. Definitely pots off the left-hand jaw. I don't think it pots off the right-hand jaw. So that's one of those, John, isn't it, where you only want to play that shot if you get right behind it. You don't want to be risky playing that shot half ball.
Yes, and with the pink in the open, and
29.
I don't know why he's too concerned about that red. He can certainly get past the winning line in this frame with the reds that are in open play and clearly go. But
35.
a nice confident start. Pots going right into the heart of the pocket.
36.
Looks like there's a little bit of work to do here, because I don't think the 3 reds above the black are in potable positions at the moment. He could play the kiss on the middle red, but that might tie the black up completely. So he's having another look at this red. He really wants to play on it. Just making sure he's not touching the brown. But he's took a chance, and we know it's tight.
Yeah, when balls like this just go, if you're right behind him, well, he is. If it goes, he'll pot it, because he couldn't be better situated.
It's a bit late now, Ronnie. You've played on it, you've looked at it 4 times, and still not happy with it.
He has an alternative, though, into this pocket, the one to the right of the black. He knew he was going to have a choice reds, and of course, if he pots this one, the other 2 then become available to the right corner. So, as I said,
43.
it's pointless taking any risks.
It's the first shot he's overhit, because he can't play the roll through for the 2 reds that John mentioned are now in open play. That's why he's having to play the screw round 2 cushions with side. Played perfectly. Well, in saying that, the whites just ran on a little bit. He got that much spin on the ball.
48. $49.
Well, it looks like he's on the black, and that red we've been talking about, you can just play a little screw shot and bring that into play. Well, he didn't feel as though he needed to, and there you see probably the reason why. 63 ahead, 75 remaining, just red and a colour needed.
56.
Just shows you once again at this level, you make one mistake, when Ronnie played his safety shot and left Stephen Hendry the red over the corner, you thought, well, Stephen's going to get the first chance. This was it, and just missed it, and he's been sat down ever since. And that black is the frame now to Ronnie O'Sullivan. The question only, will it be a century?
64. 65.
Just a fraction strong.
72. 78. $79.
It's just done past that red. Well, does it go to the right middle?
86.
Didn't play for in there, but we'll take it. Now, the awkward last red. Not good on the black. Tries to develop it off the pink. I don't think there's a double on, so this could
93.
be end of break. Just 7 points short of the century. Oh, 6 doubles, 4 trebles and an accumulator, but still didn't go in. But that was a good start from Ronnie, and Stephen will be disappointed to have missed that long red. Ronnie O'Sullivan punished him by winning the frame with a break of 93. He takes the lead for the first time in the match, 5-4. Well, Willie, it was a tentative opening and safety play from both players, but Ronnie made the first mistake. Stephen didn't capitalise.
Yeah, 2 things that surprised me there, to be honest. In the good old days, Stephen Hendry wouldn't have refused the pink in the middle. I'm not saying it was the right shot to play the pink, because he'd have had to do plenty with the cue ball. He'd have had to go in and out of baulk, and the fact that he was quite near the top cushion, he maybe thought that was a bit risky first frame in the morning. But as you rightly say, John, the long red he missed as well, that was one you'd expect him to pot, and he knew that he wasn't going to play with any sort of side on that. He thought, well, I'm bound to pot the red, I'll just try and make something happen, go into the bunch, he'll be on pink or blue.
Well, it looked like a frame-winning opportunity, but unfortunately, because he missed the red, it fell to Ronnie, and he took it.
Thank you. Frame 10. Stephen Hendry to break.
Something that Stephen Hendry has not done before in this match, breaking off behind. The first time in the match he trails. That is an excellent break off. Can't play safe off the edge of the pack because of the red on the side cushion. If he does, it's going to have to be very, very thin. Stephen Hendry was forced into playing a long red to get out of trouble in the last frame, but he wasn't on the cushion, so the long red down the side is not any value. Probably playing the 2 cushions to rest in the back of the bunch, and this is all about pace, isn't it? If he finishes short, he'll leave the one above the black. Just about perfect. Could be a red in the middle. He'll be unlucky if there is.
Amazing, isn't it? As you say, it looked like Ronnie had played the perfect escape. You just nudge your red, just knock this red on, and sometimes this is, oh, that's all that Stephen needs to win a frame. I'm not saying this is a frame-winning chance by any means, but that is the nature of snooker, just fractions. That was a good shot. Just could have done with coming about 6 inches further across the table, but it was a good pot considering he sat out most of the last frame. A good accurate pot, but as I say, just a little bit short with this position.
Pink not going on its own spot, so referee Michaela Tabb having to make sure it goes as close to the reds as possible without touching. Very good referee, Michaela Tabb, one of our very best.
7. 8.
Well, that was perfectly judged. Just had the angle to flick off the reds now. Nicely on the black. Stephen would love to make a sizable break here after what Ronnie did in the first frame, just to show him that, look, you're not phasing me. And that is what we all wish for, Willie, isn't it? That both players play the best, and then it will be
15.
a classic encounter.
Absolutely. Those shots are always difficult, the one he's just played there, because you can under-hit or over-hit that kiss. He's slightly over-hit it, but as long as this red goes in, it's still nicely on the black.
16.
And now things are a little easier. Yeah, this is why these two players are so very dangerous. A lot of players refuse to go into the pack early. You'll just see in a few moments' time how quickly, as soon as Hendry gets the black free in both pockets, he'll play into the bunch.
23.
And here it comes. Took him 3 shots. Could do with arcing round the red and pink. And there's that little gap there. If you could just maybe catch it quarter ball, not only will he bring the pink into play, he'll also bring 4 or 5 reds into play. I'd like to just move the pink out of the way, because that's stopping plenty of reds being moved into play at the moment. Doesn't like it. He's worried about going arcing it through the gap and hardly getting on anything.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether it may be a better value, Willie, and just play a little cannon on the 2 reds that are just to the extreme right of the cluster. You'd certainly be on one to the left middle, and it'd be risk-free. In the end, that's what he's tried now. All he's looking for is to be on 1 red. Is he on 1 red? He'll settle for that.
31.
Yep, doesn't matter how good you are. Now and again, you need a bit of good fortune. That certainly helped.
32.
And of course, that's what you need, really. Just 1 red, he's opened all the others. It's a frame-winning chance. Decided to go into him again, and how's this one? He's on a red, but it's no gimme. I think he was looking for those 2 reds just above the pink there. Maybe got into it a little bit too much. Tricky pot, this.
Well, for me, John, we may get a chance to look at that again. I honestly thought that was hitting near jaw and pulled up.
Yes, it did, and then in the end, it hardly hit the near jaw.
These tables have been extremely true since they've had the Crucible Theatre floor reconstructed, and they've been playing very level, but that definitely pulled up.
And now the problem's over, it appears. He's played that
45.
cannon nicely.
Sure.
Just have a look at this again. It definitely looked to be on the right-hand side of the jaw, didn't it? I still think at that pace it'd have gone in anyway, but yeah, I mean, it hardly hit the jaw in the end.
$46. $53.
Well, I'll be disappointed with that. And the way he was looking, he was always played for a red in the right corner, but the red he's closest to makes you wonder why he couldn't have played for that red into the right middle. Just when it looked as though the frame was at his mercy, he's got a problem here. Is this red worth the risk? Well, he maybe thinks this is the only pot he could leave, Ronnie, if it doesn't go in. And maybe he has left it. That was a very poor positional shot off the black, just when he looked as though he was going to win the frame.
Yes, only himself to blame there. I'm not disputing the fact that he should have gone for it. He should, but you've got to get close to the jaws. If you hit the jaws, the red can't come up the table. That was the bad positional shot. Just lost the cue ball. So this is a very, very unexpected chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan, and a chance that if he could make the most of it will certainly harm Stephen Hendry's confidence.
Well, he's just about okay. I think he can...
4.
Just depends on the potting angle. He's definitely got a red to the right middle. And maybe he thinks one to the right corner. Very straight on the one to the middle. He'll do well to pot that and run through and get a nice angle on the blue. Looks as though he was eyeing up the blue for the far left corner after this red. That's
5.
as good as he could get.
He's left himself slightly hampered with the red that's on the cushion. He's going to have his hand not in the most natural position he would like to be on this blue. And that is the reason that was always going to be missable. If he could have got down without that red being there, he'd have played that shot without any problem at all. Stephen Hendry was off his chair like a ground out of a box, because he probably thought Ronnie was going to pinch the frame off him. Shouldn't be the case now.
One.
There you see it, 56 ahead, 67
8.
remaining. Red and a colour needed. Nope.
Stephen Hendry, 8.
Well, he was on the blue, so you could say he's misframed ball. Just on the top jaw, but never really threatening the pocket.
And the red down the cushion is not one you'd like to play, but it'd be such a body blow if he rolls this in, because all of a sudden it becomes favourite. He's looking at an alternative. There's obviously room for this to pot. And he'll probably play the flick into the pink here just to bring both those reds into play. Obviously the straight roll through would be on the one in the middle, but he knows this is a chance to certainly hurt Stephen Hendry. That's the reason he's played the flick. Just lost the cue ball a little bit. So a little bit of work to do here. This is not a 100 out of 100 shot, this one. Especially because he's got a cue down on it slightly, just to widen the angle. There you see him just coming down on it. If he rolls it in, he probably kisses the red, so just having to widen the angle a little bit. Well, he played that lovely over the pocket. May even play for the red on the cushion now, and that would make things very easy.
15. $16. $22.
I'll have a quick glance there to see whether the blue would pot in the middle, and that would be the easiest ball to get onto the red. The red's in a position where he can get on it from anywhere, but he knows he doesn't have to do anything with his cue ball if he gets on the blue. This will be a body blow jam, wouldn't it, for Stephen?
Yes, you have to take your chances at this level, and particularly against a player of Ronnie O'Sullivan's calibre. He's had 2 chances
28.
and couldn't convert it.
$29.
So he's going to have to sit there and suffer, as Ronnie needs this pink and the 6 remaining colours to take the second frame of this session.
Yes, this was the one. I mean, what would he miss that? Twice out of 50? Bad miss. Well, this might be short.
37.
This might be short. Just got there. Just lost the cue ball a bit, hasn't he, over the last 3 shots? Didn't risk playing that with check side like some players would. He decided to leave the slightly more difficult brown, but round the 2 cushions. Blue in the opposite middle to where the white is now.
44.
He's just lost the cue ball for a second or 2. Just shows you under pressure. This is second prize in the corner.
Stephen, you're going to get a 3rd chance. Remarkable, and I think he's left it. Ronnie's going back to his seat, head bowed. Well, he hasn't. He's snookered him, but I think it's worth the swerve here. If you swerve this, I think he can pot it, and it's only the blue needed. It's a big swerve. Easy hit off the side cushion. I think he can swerve this.
I think it's one of those, John. The slower you play the swerve, the more chance you've got of getting the swerve. If you play it at pace, it could push away first.
There's the miss. Well, it was coming, wasn't it? Because, as you say, well, he lost the cue ball. Wasn't good on the green, wasn't good on the brown, and it tripped him up on the blue.
Surprised at this choice.
Well, I can't believe he's going this way. I mean, he could come off the other side cushion. This is dangerous. He's hoping he's going to pot this. He's hoping to pot it. Odds against. Odds against.
I want to miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Okay, Ronnie was lucky not to leave it, but I'd have rather played the swerve than tried to pot it that way.
The only good thing for Stephen, he's left plenty of distance between us to see Stephen have a go at this and just barely missed it. Ronnie can't hold for the pink, so he's got to go in and out of balk. Well, he's tried to hold. This is dangerous. Well, he held it beautifully.
5.
That didn't look on from here. You probably noticed how low he was cueing there and really dug into the cue ball just to take the pace out of the cue ball as it landed. And even then, as you can see, he's just overrun. Look how low he's cueing. Just to deaden the cue ball off that cushion. And even then, just ran 3 or 4 inches too much. Still needs the pink and black. a severe body blow. I know it's early on in the match and it's best of 33 frames, but Stephen Hendry had 2 chances in the first frame. He's had 3 chances in this frame. That's when it begins to hurt. Well, Hendry made 53. Looked all the money he was going to take the frame. He had a couple of chances, missed them both. Ronnie O'Sullivan goes further clear by 6 frames to 4. Well, for our interactive viewers, John, who are obviously enthralled by these two legends of the game playing, I mean, your reading of the game, I think, must be similar to mine. I mean, Hendry may have missed the boat in this morning's session.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I mean, he didn't get much of a chance in the first, and then in that last frame, typical frame of snooker, all about fractions. Stephen got a chance early on when Ronnie made a good escape, left him the red in the middle, looked to as though he was going to win it, played a poor positional shot, and then the second chance, you think, well, Stephen's not going to refuse this one, so he's got this red. Now, when I was overseeing the shot, I thought, can he hold for the blue? I knew he needed a red and a colour, but I thought, can he hold for the blue? And in holding for the blue, maybe he just took his eye slightly off the pot.
I tell you what, great point, John. It wasn't until you just mentioned that there I realised that the thing is, when you're playing that whole shot, you're purposely playing to pot it thick just to get more purchase on the cue ball.
Yeah, and to go all out to be on the blue, which after the red was frame ball, was a bit risky. But then I questioned the shots at the end when he was snooking on the blue. Ronnie was lucky to get away with it. I couldn't have played it that way, because if you missed it, you were going to leave it.
Thank you. Frame 11.
That's what he did.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
When Ronnie feels he gets a better break off with his left hand rather than his right, he may rethink that after that one.
We've had 2 147s in this magnificent record-breaking tournament as far as 147s are concerned. And some people are not just satisfied, are they, John? They want another one. Father and son. Give us another 147, Ronnie. I'm sure Stephen doesn't like reading that. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was another one.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. From either player, such as the prowess when they get in and around the black spot area. Or Kyle, just give us a view, play a view. You can see there's no easy path to ball, which is why he's playing the red on the right-hand side of the table as we look from this end. Ooh, he played the cross double with check side, just caught it a fraction too thick, that's why he got the double kiss. Now, can Stephen just roll this red in and get position on the colour? If he can't, it's a problem. He's down playing it pretty quick, so it mustn't be too bad. Well, he couldn't have cued that better. That was a superb shot, and particularly after the disappointment of the last frame. Terrific shot.
Yes, and just in case you're wondering why we're kind of waxing lyrical how good that shot was, to be near the cushion and to be able to push it through in a straight line at pace. That's the reason that John and I were both in the commentary box excited about the shot. And rolling it in dead weight would have been a tough shot, but rolling it in 2 cushions at pace was first class. And as we say on commentary, you deserve what you get after a good shot. How close he is to the cushion there, and how he pushes the ball through to get the speed to go around 2 cushions.
11. $12. $15.
Got to do a little bit with the cue ball here because both black and pink are not available in the left-hand side, and that's a poor
16.
shot. Needs that white to travel quickly. He's going away from the reds now, and the red at the outside of the pack. The angle is going to leave this red. He may be able to stun through the gap to get on the black, so it just depends whether he can roll this in. If not, he's going to have to force it round the back of the baulk colours, and missing the kiss on the green could be a problem if he plays it at pace. There's the angle. I think he'll miss the kiss on the yellow, okay. Will he miss the kiss on the green if he plays it at pace? There's the yellow missed. Has he missed the green? Oh, by a fraction. Unlucky, unlucky. He played that shot really, really well.
21.
Unlucky. But that wasn't the bad shot, it was the previous red getting the wrong side of the blue. Just look how much he misses the green by. They used to say a fag paper in our day, John, didn't they? Don't say that anymore. Not particularly correct.
It's there. Well played. I don't know if he knew it was there. I don't know if it was the fact that he was on nothing else and just spotted it. Left him perfect on the black. Have to go up for the blue now off this red.
29.
So it's imperative he gets a good angle on the blue.
$30.
Isn't it wonderful, John, to have a good temperament like this? A lot of players, having lost the 2 frames previous, the way he's lost them, may have been feeling a little bit sorry for themselves, but because he is a true champion and a great champion, possibly one of the best of all time, he's played some wonderful shots in this little break of 30. He's going to have to play another one here, may have to play the slow cannon onto the pink, because I don't think coming on and off the cushion he can get close enough to the red to make it easy. But temperament is massive in this game.
I think it's a key ingredient. The nerve that you have. Delicate little shots you have to play. It's not all about power shots.
35.
And you have to do everything with that one cue.
Well, from the commentary box, this looks tight. He's playing the middle red of the 3, so it didn't look on for a second there.
Well, I think he played for the red on the right-hand side of the table, but he's not run far enough. No. Convinced himself he could get through to the red.
35.
But as we clearly saw, didn't hit the red he intended first. Look, he hit the other one.
I mean, we're kind of 10 yards away from the shot and it looked tight, and it's strange, isn't it, trying to push the boat out of it there.
One.
There you go. Well, he obviously thought with a bit of right-hand side he could just turn the red over. But it was risky. Another poor positional shot. He did it in the last frame. And in the end, it cost him. Now, has Ronnie run too far
8.
there? Just about okay.
9.
He'll have to play at his best to win the frame at this visit. I know he's only 20 points behind. This is no real problem, the pink going where it is. The red will still pot, I'm sure. The fact that it has to be nearest as possible without touching means this red's always going to be on.
15.
It's not about the next 3 reds and 3 colours. It's the last 4 reds and colours that are going to be the problem.
16.
So he needs to get high on the black off the second to last red of these 2 here, and then bring those 3 reds into play. So it'll be red pink, maybe red pink again, but then needs to get on the black. Not guaranteed where the balls are to get the right side of the black at some stage.
22. $23.
Snuck by the red. If he'd have kissed it, he may not have been on it. Still 6 points behind. This is the last of the easy reds to get on now, so it's important he gets good position on the colour.
30.
I think of these 3 reds, the one that's closest to the top cushion will go into the same pocket as the pink, should he not feel he has the angle to play the cannon.
Some people may question, is that a foul shot, John, with the rest being on the table?
No, only if the cue ball had gone up there and hit it. But he's played for this one near the top cushion. He's overrun it slightly.
36.
He's not inch perfect on this.
I'm just getting a little concerned as Ronnie's played another perfect positional shot. And the reason I say it's perfect, he's just high enough on the black to flick the red out of the way. Stephen Hendry has had chances in all 3 of these games, and it looks like now he might lose all 3. And at this standard, John, 1 chance a frame you're happy with. Stephen Hendry's had 2 in these
44.
opening 3 frames. In our day, we were happy with 1 chance a frame, so at this standard, you're definitely happy with 1.
45.
10 points the lead. Still not a formality, this. Awkward red on the left-hand side of the table. Awkward red near the top cushion. Oh, another superb positional shot. I was going to say it needs to bounce, but the way he's striking the ball, you just know it's going to be perfect. But the problem of the awkward last red. Pot the black, go 22 points in front.
How many players, though, John, would have risked screwing that red in to get the black with the angle to get on the red? Most players would have rolled it in and then worried about getting black to red. But we play the black in the other pocket. He's risked the screw along the cushion to leave the angle he's left. As you rightly say, this is going to be the shot that either wins him or loses him in the frame.
57.
This is no more than 60-40 in his favour, if that.
And I can't believe for 1 minute that he wanted to leave himself using the rest. He's taking it on. It's a tough one. So Stephen Hendry gets a reprieve. you got the snooker.
Thank you.
It'll be an easy hit, but as we always say, it's not hitting the ball. Can you get it safe? Ronnie obviously can just get an edge of this red. And played it absolutely delightfully. Advantage O'Sullivan.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
They're only asking the ball to be replaced, which I suppose is the natural thing to do. But there is a chance that Stephen can get this safe.
Ronnie.
That's what he's trying to do, and if he could just catch the red on the right hand side, the red would, or the cue ball would come down here towards the black. Or if he hits it full, he hits the red. Now, does it slow down? Does it go over the pocket? Over the pocket. Easy hit, but could he get it safe? No.
Yes, as John mentioned, it wasn't hitting it, it was getting it safe, and that's the reason Stephen Hendry played it at pace to try and leave as much distance as possible between the two balls. And you'd have to be fair, Stephen's a little bit unlucky to push it over the corner.
There you see it now. 30 ahead, 27 remaining.
4.
Colours on the spots. You wouldn't think Stephen Hendry will
6.
get an opportunity to come back to the table in this frame, so third frame of this morning goes by. And we'll go to Ronnie
9.
O'Sullivan. Stephen's had his chances, just a couple of positional shots really have cost him. The last two frames in particular,
13.
when he's had good opportunities. And he knows he can't afford to miss those against this man. There's one more frame before the mid-session interval. Stephen would love to get something out of this session because he's had nothing so far. Running up on about the black. He extends his lead to 3 frames. 7-4. Stephen will be very disappointed, will he?
Yeah, like you say, you can put up with it. If your opponent goes down and makes 180-80 and you know he's knocked a good long pot in and got in on his own every time, but Ronnie's never got in on his own once this morning. It's always been through Hendry's mistakes. Now, like I say, you can put up with it if the other man's outplaying you, but he's not outplaying Stephen Hendry. The scoreline says he's outplaying Stephen Hendry.
Yeah, Stephen's had plenty of chances. And Ronnie will be feeling very comfortable. I mean, he's cueing beautifully. I mean, there was a couple of shots he played in the last frame. But how about this one? I was saying he's got 2 tricky reds, one on the top cushion. But just look how he got on it. 1 cushion, 2 cushions. 3. And now it just needed to bounce a couple of inches. And you just knew it would. Inch perfect.
And this is the shot I loved as well, that next red he played. Rather than roll it in, John, to leave himself an, you know, OK, a black that he's bound to get the red if he rolls it in. Playing it the way he did, he could miss it.
Thank you. Frame 12, Stephen Hendry to
Stephen
break.
Hendry breaking off in frame 12, and the worrying thing is he won the opening 3 frames, but he has lost the last 6 on the trot. Now, whoever you are, that starts to give a little scar. He needs to get a frame on the board and quickly just to stop the rot. If the red above the black doesn't pot, Ronnie might be tempted to take this long red on. If the red above the black pots, it's too risky. Not had a great percentage of long pots, 1 in every 2 virtually being missed by O'Sullivan, almost 1 in 3 by Stephen. So this is by no means a certainty. John just hit the nail on the head a few moments ago when we were talking about the shot he played from brown to the last red. The way he's cueing is hitting the ball so beautifully. And to do it without the power, John, that makes the pot a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, when he's cueing, it's just unbelievable. I mean, he just gets the cue through the white ball with no effort, and so smooth, and that's how he gets so much spin, as you say, without any effort.
9.
Now the reds are open. He'd like to get on the red that's just above the black. If he could somehow get to that red, he'd clear the black for both corner pockets, and this could be a frame-winning opportunity. Even without that, you get the feeling it will be.
Is it worth the risk now, John, off the yellow to screw straight up through the gap?
Well, I was thinking of that, but Ronnie's having a look at alternative reds, and he's now looking at the brown as a possibility for position. Maybe he feels by playing for a red in the middle of the table, he's got a couple of reds to play for, rather than just play for the one red. You're always a great believer in leaving yourself choices.
Yeah, I must admit,
13.
it certainly helps, because you can't always guarantee finishing on a sixpence. On a sixpence. We used to say that in the billiard halls, didn't we, on a sixpence? But I suppose it's on a 5p now. Needs to get rid of that red ASAP, and he's come too high for it now, so he'll have to play the bottom red of that little group of 4.
19. $20.
Well, that's an interesting stat. They've been playing here for like 8 or 9 days. There's a total tournament points, and as you can see there, there's only 24 points difference between the two players on total points throughout the whole tournament. 3,903, 3,879. This is a stats fest we've got now. Tournament balls
25.
potted. There's only 4 more balls been potted by Stephen Hendry. But the frame score, that's not looking too close at the minute.
26.
You're becoming a bit of an anorak, Willie, aren't you, on the quiet? They'll be calling us Statman and Robin.
Still struggling because of that red. Will it pot when the black goes on its spot? With the position of the red, it will. Just having the white ball cleaned. Michaela having to work hard this morning. Had to place the pink off its spot behind the pack on a couple of occasions. Now they clean the white.
$34.
It's looking quite ominous at the moment, John.
Yes, as we say, this is all about getting chances and taking them, and Stephen hasn't done that in the first 4 frames. And we all know with these champions that, and Stephen had mentioned it in actual fact in one of his press conferences, he couldn't afford to let Ronnie get in front of him, because Ronnie will get stronger, like Stephen does. Stephen gets stronger. Steve Davis used to be the same. As soon as they get a few frames in front, they get stronger. He had his opportunity yesterday, Stephen, when he led 4-1. And as you say, he's lost the last 6 frames. Looking like he could lose the next 7.
$41.
Well, this completely opens the frame up. Doesn't have to worry about the 3 reds that are near cushions now. He can clearly win the frame with these next 5 reds in open play and 5 colours. He's had spells in this tournament where he's looked unbeatable, but he's also had spells in the tournament where he almost looks like he's not really interested, and you just got to hope, if you're his opponent, that he has a couple of those sessions where he seems to be not at ease with himself, because when he's at ease with himself, he's playing as good as I've seen him play.
50.
Yeah, but there's one thing we do know, don't we, Willie? He has tremendous respect for Stephen. So he ain't going to take his foot off the pedal, so to speak. Against Stephen Hendry, who he's... Well, that will be his goal, to try and
58.
equal or better whatever Stephen's done in the game. He'll have to go some, though, to do that. There you see the pot success for Ronnie. Very acceptable for Stephen. Well, that's probably a reflection of why he looks like losing 7 frames on the trot from 4-1 in front. Just this red and a colour, and he'll be 8-4 behind.
$66.
Tells you they know, we know, Hendry knows.
73.
He's lost 4 on the trot this morning.
74.
And the only thing missing from this morning's session, the way Ronnie's played, is a century. It's going to be tough to get one. He was a little unlucky in frame 9 where he broke down on 93.
80.
Left the angle,
81.
I think, to be able to nudge the other red into play. That's what he's tried to do. Maybe a little bit too low. So if he is, it's around the houses. He hasn't made his mind up yet. Well, if he's got the kiss after hitting the green.
87.
They're hard to please, this audience, aren't they?
They're getting used to it this morning, John. He's playing too good. Well, once again, no century, but the standard of play from O'Sullivan is outstanding. Stephen will be very disappointed. Could have won 3 of the 4. He hasn't. He's lost all 4 and trails by 8 frames to 4. Well, our interactive viewers, I'm sure, have been enjoying that as much as we have. We've got a 15-minute break. Rejoin us when they return.
Thank you. Frame 13, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Well, it's always a little bit dangerous when the red drifts down the table, but he's got a good length with the cue ball. And even if Stephen could get past the brown to this red in the middle of the table, it could cut in the right middle, but sorry, the left middle, but he'd be running into other reds. It'd be a very dangerous shot to play.
I've got to ask you, John, why is it at the Masters, some of our viewers and listeners here will remember us saying that the break-off's becoming extinct because you're always leaving a shot to nothing every single shot. We've come here to Sheffield, we're playing on the same table, the same cloth, virtually the same balls and that, and hardly ever have we seen the shot to nothing being left off the break.
Well, I think the players, but because we've been talking about it so much, and of course there's nothing worse than breaking off and leaving your opponent a pot on, so they've probably been working on it in practice, how to get the break off. I know Ronnie's been working very hard at his break-off shot.
Is that the reason maybe he plays it left-handed, because he feels he can get wider off the break?
Well, that's what he said to me. He said, for some reason, he said, and he doesn't know why, but if he plays it left-handed, he feels as though he gets a little bit more right-hand side and swings it a little bit wider. What a choice to have. Stephen's forced to take this on here. This is dangerous. couldn't see a safety. He knew it was risky. But sometimes you just force into playing the pot.
One.
Well, Stephen, as John mentioned, was forced into playing that pot, and you know that if you give Ronnie half a sniff the way he's playing this morning, he's going to score heavily. Every frame this morning has scored 40 or above. That's been his lowest break, 44 in frame 10. Everything else has been 93, 87, 57. How many will he get here?
4. 5.
'Couldn't get into the main bunch there, but full ball contact was always going to leave in the bottom red. He's got the full ball contact.
12.
Because he's now getting rid of this red, going into the bunch now is not really
13.
advantageous, so he'll be playing for a loose one.
$20. 21. 28.
Now, what sort of an angle has he got? Well, he's playing bottom and follow through, so back for the black.
29.
Now, could he play the cannon onto the reds? Just got to avoid the red near the top cushion, or just play for another loose one. That's what he's doing. Always had to
36.
judge the pace well there, because it wasn't obvious the red, but he's nicely on this, up for the blue.
37. 42. 43.
That's exactly where he didn't want to finish. That's why he's taking the pink now, because he can't get onto that red. Playing the pink, of course, means that red's going to be available that's loose. This is the key shot now, the next one. Position on 3/4 ball pink into the middle to open the reds, or half ball black to go into them from one cushion into the
49.
reds. Just coming around to look whether the value is to play the 3/4 ball pink. From this instance, I think that's the best value, because you'd be pushing a red over the left-hand corner and possibly over the right-hand corner if you play the pink 3/4 ball. So always, you've got to look at these kind of things, where the reds are being pushed to. And that's the reason he's left the 3/4 ball pink. So the one on the extreme left of the bunch will be pushed towards the left, and he'll be hoping he pushes one over the right as well. Not worked. He may have the top one. Didn't quite have the angle he wanted to. Just keep an eye on them. Just got him. I thought that red had slowed down. He probably hit it a fraction hard.
Yeah, and he could have done with hitting the join of the two reds rather than just the one red. And he had to put a bit of backspin so that the cue ball didn't stick on the red, but I think he's got one to the left corner. There you see it.
57.
Not far from the winning line in another frame. Stephen Hendry led 4-1.
61.
Could be 8 in a row. Has he got an angle on this red? Just enough.
62.
They're just slotting them in as though they're over the pocket. That was a difficult shot made to look ridiculously easy.
69.
This is the first frame of the frames this morning as we see Ronnie taking what would be frame ball.
70.
But Stephen Hendry hasn't really had a chance in this frame. So it doesn't hurt as much when you don't have a chance, but obviously the reason it delayed a little bit more this morning because that's 5 on the trot. A total of 8 on the trot since he was 4-1 in front.
77. 78.
And the nature of the game, Ronnie O'Sullivan broke off. Stephen couldn't see a safety, was forced into playing a long pot, didn't get it,
54.
and that's it. So as we say, no matter how good you are, when the other man's at the table potting balls, you can only watch. This is the one that Stephen couldn't see a safety,
90.
knew it was fraught with danger, and his worst fears have been realised.
91.
He's just rammed that in left-handed there. Well, he deserves a century. This has been absolutely top draw.
98.
All centuries are good.
99.
This has been very good.
And there you go. And why wouldn't you applaud that?
106.
His 8th century
108.
of the tournament. And the 54th of the tournament.
111.
The record stands at 68 in the tournament.
115.
It's not certain to be beaten. At the start of the tournament, a lot of talk
120.
whether it be 60 or above or less. I think 60 will be beaten. But this has been a
126.
masterclass in break building. Poetry in motion. Absolutely superb. Stephen Hendry, nothing anybody could do about that. Good break off from Ronnie. Stephen made a mistake. Ronnie clears up 133. A magic moment. He now leads 9-4. Stephen Hendry has left the arena as the crowd just discuss the merits of that break. And when he's in this form, William, cueing this well, it's an absolute delight, isn't it?
Well, it's just that you always mention his cue ball movement, John, and he just gets the movement that 90% of other players don't. I mean, we look at some of the players left in the tournament. Joe Perry, a fantastic player, great match player, but he doesn't quite create the same cue ball movement as Ronnie, so he has to play balls harder. The reason that Ronnie seems to play easy shots all the time, because he gets so much cue ball movement, he's able to get in positions from angles that other players are not, and that's what makes it easy.
Yeah, we were saying last night, you know, that the best breaks are the ones where even the average player says, well, I could have potted that. Well, of course, because it's just wonderful cue ball control, finishing perfect, and when he had to get out of a little bit of trouble, he'd go in and out of balk, or he'd get the nice angle on the blue. A wonderful break. And Stephen, with 3 frames to go in this session, has got to pull something out here, you think?
Yes, you'd have to suggest he needs to win at least 2 of the 3 to
Thank
go
you, frame
no
14.
worse than 10-6
Hendry,
into this evening's 3rd session of 4. Fourteenth frame now underway. Stephen Hendry hasn't potted a ball in the last 2, largely due to breaks of 87 and 133. He had chances in the first 3, didn't have chances really in the next 2. Real key moments in this match. Stephen Hendry obviously can still win this match because that's how good a player he is. But he's got to start to make something happen, and quickly.
Not touching.
Michaela Tabb said it wasn't touching. I think Ronnie's. I think I have a little debate on who's got the best hairstyle. I was going to hairstyle. I mean eyesight.
No, definitely.
Ronnie, you're going blind. I thought you were playing that. How do you put all these balls and you can't see whether they're all touching?
Not a lot Ronnie can do here. Obviously, if it was touching, this cue ball would be back in the balk end, but he can't find a path back to balk. Doesn't really want to run to the top cushion because that'd leave an easy safety for Stephen, but I don't see what else he can do unless he just plays a little tap shot. That's what he did. Just checking that he's not left Stephen an easy path back to the balk end.
Sometimes, John, you see players almost play a miscue to play that shot. Is that to avoid the push shot?
Well, yeah, it's when they're so close. Delicate little shot, wasn't it? Now, can Stephen get back to the balk end? No, he couldn't. That was the shot that Ronnie didn't want to play when he was at the table, because it's an easy shot now to get the cue ball back to the balk end, but what's he playing, the double? Well, he played the snooker. The only reason we question that, although he did try to open the reds with the red he played. I suppose he's got to be careful here, Stephen. Yes, well played. Well played.
Yes, and the reason Ronnie tapped on the table, Stephen played the more difficult glancing safety, because if he rested on the pack, the red would have been available in the middle pocket. There's not been a good chance to get up into the balk area yet. There won't be one here. The next shot may be a safety into the balk area. Yes, he's got a couple of choices now to get thin off the bunch to get into balk. Well, great safety. He was in trouble there. I honestly don't think... Not that Ronnie's played too many safety shots this morning. I can't remember him not getting within 2 inches of the ball cushion every time he's played a safety shot this morning. And obviously means when you're cueing well in the balls, it obviously means you're going to be cueing well in the safety department, and that's the case this morning. Stephen's got no shot back into ball, so he's having to play the famous dump shot, but he's not got it. Ronnie will take this on. That's short. Yeah, Stephen will be really disappointed he didn't reach the cushion, and the fact that yellow's off the spot now means that he's still on a colour. It's amazing how matches can drift away from you when you... He'd be sitting there feeling like he's not played a shot this morning, John. But he had chances in opening 3 frames. But the last 3, he's just sat and watched.
3.
Yes, and unlike us, have been enjoying the play of Ronnie also, Stephen won't be looking at it that way.
4.
He'll be itching to get on the table, but at the moment you're just getting a little bit concerned. I'm not certain where his next frame comes from.
$11. $12.
Couple of loose reds. Doesn't have the perfect angle to go onto the black, so he'll be looking at the angle next time, because the 4 reds just above the black spot, he'd love to go into those because he still have choice of red
19.
into each corner.
$20.
Now this is perfect, you see, he just plays into the 4 reds if he's got the angle to do so, and bound to be on one in the corner. There it is, you see. He just never misses a trick. And you just see the white go into the pack that goes in twice. There's the first kiss. And then just to bring things all into play, make sure the white's going in at speed. And this is why we talk about going into the bunch with a dead white. Ronnie never does. He always makes things happen. And to make that so it's not a dead white, you have to really get through the ball. He gets through it better than most.
28. $35. 36. $43. 44.
He just does everything so quickly when he's break building. You know, Hendry plays a bad safety, and all of a sudden 4 minutes later it's almost at frame ball again. 3 more reds and 3 colours. It'd have been 9 on the trot if you can win this frame. I'm sure Stephen Hendry, in his career
51.
at the Crucible, has never lost 9 on the trot. He lost 9-0 once in the UK Championship to Marcus
52.
Campbell. Marcus is a great player, but I know that Stephen was having a little bit of trouble with his cue at the time. So this will be the first time he's lost 9 on the trot since Marcus Campbell won 9 on the trot.
$59. $60.
Not perfect on the blue, so he could possibly play a little cannon here just to hold the cue ball. He'd like to be able to run by the pack if he can off 2 cushions. And he could run by off 2 cushions, and he's perfect. I wasn't sure whether that shot was on. That shot
65.
could be a frame winner. That was beautifully played. Could be back-to-back centuries.
66.
The applause tells you that the frame is over.
Doesn't seem to play well, Stephen Hendry, in second
72.
sessions against Ronnie. Remember a few years ago when it was 17-4, the second session they came in at 6-2. Hendry lost 7 on the trot to go to 13-2. But this is 9 on the trot, which is a record.
Made a break of 133 in the last frame, and the cue ball control was just, well, just poetry in motion.
81.
This, if anything, has been slightly better. He's cueing like a dream.
I mentioned in commentary when he was 9-7 in front of Mark Williams, he played 4 frames to win 13-7, that I thought was the best 4 frames I'd seen for a long time at the Crucible. We're now talking
89.
of 6 or 7 frames on the trot that have been played in the same way, and it's all because Stephen didn't take his chances in the opening 3 frames. Ronnie has suddenly given a lift, the fact that he knows that Stephen is struggling to pot sometimes frame ball.
95.
If you let this man loose,
96.
you can see what he can do. Hendry's a genius, but undoubtedly Ronnie O'Sullivan is a genius.
102.
2 of the greatest players of all
103.
time. One of them is totally commanding this session.
$108.
Possible
110.
135 on, which will eclipse the 133 of the previous frame.
113. 117. 122.
2 total clearances on the trot. It just doesn't get any better than that. Stephen Hendry can only sit and watch. O'Sullivan in unstoppable form at the minute and goes further clear by 10 frames to 4. Well, how do you get out of this mess, John?
Wet his tip. Funny enough, sometimes when we, to use your term, waxing lyrical about Ronnie O'Sullivan, a lot of people say, you know, that maybe we go over the top, but when you watch those last 2 frames, then that's why he's such a dangerous opponent. And Stephen there, sitting there, has done nothing wrong in the last 3 frames. He's just not had a chance.
And we talk about cue ball movement, John, and we've got a chance here to show you. Just explain about cue ball movement on this particular shot.
Well, the way Ronnie delivers the cue and the timing of it, that, for example, on this shot, and I'll show you exactly where he's striking the ball. He's playing it low, but he's just giving chance for this backspin to take effect. He's got a half ball black, so initially the white will go up the table, and then when it makes contact with the reds, the backspin comes into place, and there you see it pushing into the reds, finished absolutely inch perfect, and there was certain inevitability about it once he got the reds in that position.
Frame 15, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Two more frames to be played in this session. You got a feel for Stephen, but he's done it to other players. When he was at his height of his career, he used to steamroller them. This is Stephen's view. There's no path back to baulk there, so he's don't want to play the risky red, which he was tempted into a couple of frames ago, and he only had the one shot, so playing the two cushion escape, trying to catch the reds thin.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
This has been the 7th frame of the, oh, we've had 7 break-off today, John. Not once have we seen a red potable in 7 frames off the break.
No, Ronnie's, everything he does at the moment, he's just inch perfect. Well, this two cushion escape, you think's on. Stephen's a little bit of a way away from it. Maybe needs a bit more side.
Is that right? That way.
Kayla just asking Stephen, is that right? And
Okay. Ronnie?
Stephen happy, I'm certain Ronnie will be. We just got to get a bit more side. He can play this shot, but don't catch the red too thick. That's what he's frightened of. Not close again.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
It's well on. I thought the brown may be in the way of him playing this shot, but it certainly isn't. And of course, he'll be worn now.
Okay, I've got to warn you, if you don't hit a ball on, you'll lose a frame.
This is the second time this morning that Stephen has been warned that if he doesn't hit a ball, he will forfeit the frame. So he's got to take this red on now. He didn't want to. And for the second time this morning, when the referee has forced him into playing the red, he didn't. He's putted it. He's had no table time.
8.
It's all been Ronnie O'Sullivan. What can he make of this opportunity?
Yes, it's the first ball is potted in 3 frames.
9.
87, 133, 135 without reply. And it was just under 50 minutes of play without potting one, so this will be a monumental task here if you can make something happen. And that's when you're out of form. That is when you're struggling. You can't believe it. The way Ronnie's playing, if he'd played that shot, he'd been on a couple of reds. Because he's playing so well, Ronnie, things happen for you. And when you're playing, well, he's not playing poorly, Hendry. He's missed a couple. But when things are not going for you, that's very, very cruel. Playing the swerve shot back into baulk. I don't know whether he hit the red, did he?
Stephen Hendry.
It must have been
16.
virtually touching ball. Horrible game sometimes, isn't it? The harder you try, the harder it gets.
It's always been the same. When you need a little bit of luck, you never get it. Doesn't look to be too bad a shot, that, from Stephen, particularly if he's covered the red on the left-hand side of the table with the brown. And Hawkeye, I think, will show us that he has. Nicely judged escape. Not left anything on. Once again, important when Stephen plays as he tries to cover that red in the left-hand cushion. It's not too bad if he gets tight against the baulk cushion. Well, that didn't work out as Ronnie planned, and I think this red will cut back into the right middle. Where the cue ball goes, you wouldn't be certain. But don't miss the red. Don't miss the red. Just overcut it. He was trusting to look for position. This red goes into the right middle, far right corner. And Stephen must be thinking at the moment he cannot afford to make a mistake, and he's putting pressure on every shot he plays, safety or pots.
Very rarely do you see almost a look of resignment in a gentleman's face of Stephen's class, but he looked a little bit frustrated, and to think you've played 14.5 frames and he's up to 94% in pot success rate is amazing. I don't know what the highest success rate is over the best of 25. We'll try and find that out for you at some stage, but it's impossible to be 94%. I mean, it just is. You know, I would think over 25 frames, maybe 92% would be about the highest ever.
Well, he's having a close look, Ronnie. Does the red above the black go to the right corner? He's having a second look, so it must be tight. Or can he get through to the one? Well, if you could get to the one just to the right of the black, that would be the better red to pot. I think the other one definitely goes. That's the one he'd like. There's a gap between the red and the black for the red in the right corner. If you could pot that, he'd bring the black into play and available into both corner pockets. Looking for alternatives.
Yeah, Stephen had chances in the opening 3 frames. He's had a chance in this frame, and apart from that, I can't remember any more chances. So we're talking 4 chances in 6 frames. That's how good O'Sullivan has played this morning.
Seven.
Felt that all the other options were difficult to guarantee position, so just rolling that red. He knew he'd be leaving the blue. He can go left middle, but you would think he'd be far left corner. Got more control of the cue ball then.
Well, obviously the red on the pink spot pots, otherwise he would have played it in the far corner.
12.
Yeah, it just goes. The pink won't go, so that's a good back for the blue.
13.
Another example of just how smooth he gets through the ball.
I mean, how slow did he hit this screw shot, John? Got plenty of reaction.
Yeah, it's like the white stopped and then just give it a chance for the backspin and then took it, and it's just inch perfect on the blue. He's in full stride, no doubt about that.
And once again, you see, Ronnie knows to win the frame, he's got to get the black into play.
18.
And look where he's put the cue ball. Absolutely perfect. Pot the red, flick the red away from the black, end of racing.
26. 27.
'Well, he's opened the reds, but it's gone slightly wrong.
34.
They've not broke as he hoped. He's got a red to the left middle, but it's a tricky one. 26 points the lead. Oh, it looked tricky. Lovely pot.
Yeah, sure.
And once again, lovely control of the cue ball. I know some people, Willie, criticise us for eulogising so much about Ronnie, but we've done the same with Stephen Hendry when he was at the peak of his powers. And having played the game at the top level, and you watch these players when they're playing at the best, like Ronnie has done this morning,
42.
you've just got to be so impressed. I make no apologies. If a player plays well, I think you've got to call it as it is. And Ronnie this morning has been absolutely magnificent. Okay, the first couple of frames, Stephen had chances and he'll be ruining those opportunities that went astray. But since then, Stephen has had no chance whatsoever against a barrage of breaks.
43. 49. 50.
Not over the winning line in this frame yet. He's 42 in front. That's gone astray. Green, brown, blue or pink he can play here. He plays the pink, well, left-handed. You can imagine him stunning off one cushion and dropping in behind the red on the left-hand side in the middle. He's trying to reach it. He played around the back of the red probably just to give himself choice of pockets. See, that's the reason he played around the back, and he's just hitting the ball as good as you can hit it. As good as you can hit it.
56.
He knows this is a big ball though. This is a blind pocket. Two more reds, two colours needed.
Left-handed, right-handed. Just checking the scoreboard. 49 the lead. Colour, one more red required. The next red isn't obvious. Well, he played an excellent shot there. He's not perfect on this red, but he's only got to roll it in to go 56 ahead with only 51 remaining. No heroics.
54.
Sometimes out there, John, it's hard to add up, isn't it? We've all been there, and Ronnie's had about 10 looks at the scoreboard. In a minute he'll realise he's won this frame, barring snookers.
$71.
Well, past the point where Stephen Hendry will bother coming back to the table.
72.
Well, I've seen some sessions of snooker, John, but you can't play better than this.
No, the last frame he made a break of 135. Frame before 133.
78.
And you wouldn't bet against
79.
a third century in succession. And look at the pot success now, up to 95% and rising. Too easy for Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's getting very hard for Stephen Hendry. It loses another one. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads 11-4. Well, this is breathtaking, Willie.
It's the best I've ever seen, to be honest. Yes, I've seen Hendry make 4 and 5 centuries on the trot. I've seen him make 6 centuries in 9 frames. And we shouldn't forget how good a player Hendry is and how great he was. And he was unbelievably good. But even at his best, Hendry, he never looked pedestrian, he never looked workmanlike because he was a genius. But Ronnie's just got that way of making it look like it is ridiculously easy.
Yeah, he's got that way of playing. He's got that certain panache, the way he walks around the table. And we're lucky to have him. And when he's at his best and in the right frame of mind, he's everything a game, any sport would want.
Thank you. Last final frame of the session, Stephen Hendry to break.
The last frame of this session. Stephen Hendry has never lost a session 8-0. And I'm sure he's never lost 10 on the trot before. Here at the Crucible Theatre, it's virtually his second home, Stephen Hendry. This is the first time today there's been a shot potable off the break. Call the police, he's missed one.
Superb opening red and well appreciated by this audience. Well, Stephen just stopped in his tracks there. Has he run too far? Is he still on this red he played for, the one just above the black? Puff of the cheeks to me tells me that he's not on the ball he played for.
But once again, Stephen's played a fabulous red, played the black to play the cannon, and look where he's finished betwixt and between on 3 different reds. This one I think he can screw back, and he may just be able to flick off the red and get on the black. He can run it in if he wants to, but yeah, he's running it in for blue or bought colour. It's close. The reason I said it was close, I knew he was hitting the jaw, and I was just hoping for his sake that it would go in, because to see anybody whitewashed is not nice. But Hendry has been one of the game's greats, if not the greatest. He's going to have to dig as deep as he ever has in his life
14.
now to get back into this match somehow. Ronnie O'Sullivan has inflicted
15.
2 whitewashes in a session here. Robert Milkins a few years ago, and Peter Ebden. So it won't be the first time he's won all 8 in a session. It may not happen here if Hendry can make a sizable break.
$22.
Well, he can just about get through to this red. He's having to play with a bit of side. Played it well.
23.
On this red, may see him
30.
going up for the blue here. Just give you a better strike on the cue ball. You just don't want to be rolling this red in when you're going across the nap. But if he plays for the blue, he needs to be on the right side of it.
$31.
Just not hard enough. There's one loose red on the left-hand side of the table he can get on by just rolling the blue in, but it's not exactly as planned. Straight enough.
Yes, and knowing Hendry, he'll try and leave this a little bit short, so in potting the red he brings other reds into play, and he'll hope to get on black or pink, but you're never sure, John, are you? Because he would kiss in reds and go in the way of the black.
Yeah, but there's pressure on this, as I say, at the moment there's pressure on every shot he plays. He knows if he makes one mistake, it's end of frame.
Surprised he didn't risk bringing other reds into play. I think he's going to have to go into them now. I don't think there's anything on. Can't spot any plants anywhere, and it's not the greatest pack to go into this one.
No, I suppose there's a red to the left centre, but it looks as though he's going to play the cannon. Needs a bit of luck. Had none. Don't think he's on a red.
44.
He'd have loved to have won this frame in one visit, as Ronnie has been doing, but he'll have to play safe.
Stephen Hendry, 44.
Yeah, it's a funny old game. We can look at this session, whether it be 7-1 or 8-0, and we can say it was an absolute slaughter, but Hendry's first 3 frames could have won all 3 of them. Certainly here could have won this one. So it just shows you that at top level, we're talking it could have been 4-4, but the way O'Sullivan's played, obviously, he has been the better player of the 2 in this session by far. But such small margins, John, the difference of winning and losing.
Well, yes, and although Stephen Hendry has got a 44-point lead, that's a good safety shot from Ronnie. And there's lots of pressure on this one again.
Here, there again, you see, when things are not going right for you, every little kiss goes wrong. He's gone into the bunch twice, Stephen got on nothing. He's played a safety shot there, pushed it into a pothole position, and if this red goes in, that 44-point lead will disappear very quickly. This kiss is not bound to work because he's going to play the kiss on the 3 reds to the left, full ball, and push through them. If the red just below the pink will pot, he may not play the kiss here because it's not a kiss that you can guarantee getting onto a red. So he's looking at the middle red. If he pushes through that red, he's not guaranteed to be on one. So it remains to be seen whether he plays the loose one, but he's playing it. He's playing the cannon. There's the middle red. Now is he on one? You betcha.
8. Nine. Eleven. 12. 18. 19. Yeah.
Well, he got a heavy contact there and it nearly threw the red offline. I think he may have played a little bit of right-hand side that just turned the red over, but it went in. Stephen, when he was at the table, probably thought he was going to put his first frame on the scoreboard. It's looking doubtful now. These reds in the open and Ronnie only 18 points behind.
26.
He's favourite.
Yes, in this run of breaks he's had, I can't
27.
remember him ever playing a kiss and not getting it perfect. I can't remember him ever playing for a loose red and not getting on it. When he's gone in the bunch, he's always left himself options. This has just been about as good as you can see, and this Crucible crowd, I'm sure, realise that. They're watching a genius at work.
34.
I'm sure most people in the auditorium have
35.
played snooker now and again, and there's probably a few players in here, John, that have made the odd 100 break. There's a lot of club snooker played around the country. There'll be a few people thinking, well, I've made the 100 before, but they haven't made them look as easy as this. He's smiling,
42.
he's had one.
43.
I mentioned that 44-point lead would evaporate very quickly. After this black, it's gone.
$50. 51. 58.
This looks to be the only difficult shot left. But as with most of them, right in the heart of the pocket. There you see it, 21
65.
ahead, 27 remaining, yellow and green.
67.
As we've said before, left-handed, right-handed, no difference.
But the angle he had on the yellow there, to be able to generate the speed left-handed, that was very, very good. I think the adrenaline has gone through Ronnie's arm there. He knows he's won a session 8-0, which is a feather in his cap. And that's why he's over hit the green. Well, it doesn't get any better than that, and barring snookers, Ronnie O'Sullivan
70.
has won all 8.
Well, that going in, Stephen wanted one snooker to tie. Now the brown's gone in, one snooker on the blue to win. Just not the right line. He's going to knock the black to the cushion, which is the last thing he needs. That's one less ball to snooker behind.
And the crowd couldn't see Stephen there. He just looked up to the commentary box with a slight little grimace there, because knowing that black's gone out of play, with only the pink ball available now, it is a tough ask. But Stephen will know that he's been put players in this position himself before, but never has had it done to himself at the World Championship before. Don't know quite what he played there.
Just an air of resignation about that shot. As you say, it's a big ask to get the snooker with only the pink. Don't see any value in Stephen potting the blue.
Five.
Well, if he gets a snooker from this position, I shall walk home.
Stephen Hendry, 5.
Might play the long double here, Ronnie. As long as he leaves plenty of distance between cue ball and object ball, there's no real problem.
Yeah, you feel at the moment the only chance he's got is somehow trying to bring the black away from the top cushion. That's why I was surprised he potted the blue.
Yes, he's playing up and down again, just waiting for a better opportunity. It's quite refreshing to have normal play for a while, John, isn't it? It's just been a succession of potting and break building. The pink for a remarkable session of snooker from what has today can only be described as a genius at work. Stephen Hendry had chances earlier on, but Ronnie O'Sullivan was a pure masterclass. If you can take home that with you, watch out a break build. That's the way to do it. Ronnie O'Sullivan goes further clear, and he now leads by 12 frames to 4. Well, interactive. That's as good a session of snooker as you can see from one player. You can only feel a bit sorry for Stephen Hendry. Had his chances, didn't take them. Join us for the second semi-final, which starts at 2:30.